broadcasting from the Studio Clubhouse, Radio Free Radio, WRFR, Hampton, Virginia.
Okay. The idea this week, I was going to put together this big intro, right? I had the idea, and I molded it over a little bit, but I put it off a little bit, and I got to a little later in the afternoon, and then I was like, well, I got to do one other thing first. I got to make some time, but it's gonna be perfect. I have the perfect idea. I'm gonna put it together, and here it comes, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock on the dot. We're gonna have the big intro. I didn't do it. Just play the other music. Play the other music, please. Yep. Still on that intro. You want to know why? Because I'm torn between two worlds of anxiety and laziness. And that's what we're going to get into tonight. Hello, everybody. I'm Nate. Nate for branding. And this is the Nate Project. It's in my ever expanding, ever ongoing quest to become a actual human. Someday I will be a real boy. Until then, sorry, Geppetto, I'm gonna continue to disappoint you. How you doing, everybody? Me? Let's go over me first. We'll do a little recap of last week and talk about some of my ongoing things that I'm trying to control and trying to be better about in my life. Okay? First of all, let's talk about the diet thing. Diet thing's still going strong. Surprisingly enough, I'm 3 weeks in? I gotta stop counting the days. When I can stop counting the days, that's when I start having success. It becomes a lifestyle instead of something you've been doing for a little while. But I'm 21 days strong, and I'm doing okay. And body's changed a little bit. Energy is really changing. Very not flatlining, but I have a flat amount of energy, less peaks, less valleys, as helping my sleep, helping the day job too, and the edema, the water retention in my left leg is gone. I have 2 normal human-shaped legs, so yay for me. So that's where that stands, and that's still going pretty good. So continuing on with that. Now, the other thing, topic last week was religion, my experiences, my relationship with it, and I actually had a pretty decent amount of feedback, and a couple people that have been very close, very involved with a number of shows I've been on and do, reached out to me and talked about her experiences with it, and you know what? If you're out there listening this week, thank you for that. It really gave me some solace on some things I'm doing. It lets me know that I can, even though I have to remain vigilant with the raising of the kid and his experiences with religion, I don't have to be so afraid, because I'm a good judge of what's good and what's bad, and it's nice to have a little reassurance, have someone point out that you should have a little bit of confidence, because your judgment's a pretty decent thing. So thank you for that. You know who he is. But I guess that's gonna get us to this week. This week's going to be a very odd one, because it's a very ongoing situation that affects literally everything I do in my life. And it's going to be anxiety. Going into what anxiety is, defining it better, having a better understanding, a better knowledge of it personally, so I can change myself more effectively deal with the situations I run into week to week, day to day, moment to moment, because it literally is moment to moment. So I decided to look into what is anxiety, and I tried to... I feel that's the best way to approach a situation, is to very much delve into the textbook definition, the classical symptoms, reading about not so much other people's experiences with it. That's the later evolution of defining for yourself what something is, but getting just the bare facts, cutting out as much opinion as possible and as much anecdotal evidence as possible, and getting to absolute facts. So I went through a number of sites, there are surprisingly great amount of organizations out there that really are support groups for anxiety, and it's a little cousin down the road, depression, and and many other things, which is good to see. It's good to see. The internet does have its good points. There's a lot of people out there that want to not just talk about, but commiserate about their own personal experiences and help you with yours, which is good, But the best thing I was able to find on anxiety was not so much definition, but a little kind of flowchart of the warning signs of anxiety. Now, as you go through this, if you feel like you have any little bit of anxiety, you're going to start really personalizing these things and think, that definitely applies to me. And I feel that anyone, if they go through one of these lists, can really say, hey, that definitely applies to me. It's kind of like your horoscope. You ever read a horoscope as a kid? I don't know why I was weirdly superstitious. I had a time in my life where I was really into Greek and Roman mythology, and then I got into like numerology. And this is all in the space of like being a young kid, like 10, 11, 12. Twitter's going crazy already. At the Nate Project, and people are yelling at me. Stop that. Well, I guess they can't already. They've already sent it. So hey. Hey Chase. Yeah, you have anxiety? Yeah, me too. So I was into the Greek and Roman mythology, the numerology, and got into a little bit of astrology. Not so much as a believing in it, but I was interested in it. And I got to reading my own personal horoscopes, and I see Capricorn on there. I'm a late Capricorn. January 3rd is my birthday. And it's a shitty birthday, by the way. I shouldn't be cursing this early in the evening, but whatever. It's a really bad birthday. It's 9 days after Christmas, so nobody has any money, and you don't want to get any gifts you should have got for Christmas. 2 days after New Year's, no one wants to party. Never allowed to bitch about it because my mom was born Christmas Day, and now I have a kid whose birthday is January 4th. So now I've like totally lost my birthday. But that's beside the point. But if you read your horoscope, you'll see that it's usually fairly ambiguous, and it can apply to anything you do that day. Anything at all. And then you read a different horoscope and you realize that one also pretty applicable to everything you do. So that's what I kind of saw when I went down this list of symptoms of anxiety. And I'm going to just go list by list. I got a list of 12 big things here, and I'm just going to go through them one by one and talk about how they relate to me. And I'm sure, they're going to resonate with you as well because, hey, man, that's part of who we are. Anxiety is what we do. It's part of the human experience, the animal part of us, the fight or flight. Both of those are rooted in anxiety. So all of these are going to apply to you in one way or another, just a matter of to what degree. And go through them, categorize them as how much they affect me or how little they affect me. All right, number one, excessive worry is one of the leading signs of anxiety, which I thought that was fairly self-explanatory. I really thought that's what anxiety was at its base, was excessive worry. But then I got really thinking about it, about how much I think about thinking about. Yeah, it's not that deep. It's kind of a shallow pool. I'm just kind of swimming around in circles. But I realized I'm very, very, very over-analytical of every little thing. Every social interaction I have, every thing I do, every physical motion that I do is over-calculated, which is not a good thing. And it really puts me in a position that I'm not in the moment with many things. That's why I like acting so much, which I haven't done a whole that much of, mind you, but there's samples of it out there hiding on YouTube or awaiting a triumphant debut for season 2 here someday. And I really love acting because it gives me a chance to step back. I get to analyze every physical moment, every physical movement, every action, every reaction, and how I'm going to behave. And that's safe for me. I like that. I'm good at that. But I unfortunately do that in my everyday life too. Everything is overanalyzed and excessively worried about. Leading up to this moment, what I was going to talk about. I'm sitting there in my house and I got this list. I don't know if I can do the whole hour about talking. And look, man, I spent all day worrying about it. I spent all week worrying about it. And here I am. I'm doing it. Why did I have to worry? Should I have worried? No, I shouldn't have. I spend way too much time doing that. So excessive worry definitely applies. But man, that's all of us. It's what we do as people. Number 2 on the list. And this one, I didn't really think about this being as part of anxiety, but sleep problems. Sleep problems is number 2. And I thought about something I said in an earlier episode of the Nate Project when I was talking about just worry in general. And that's 2 of my things that I always worry about late at night is my own mortality and financial situations. And what I'm going to do and how much in the hole I feel like I am about... let's see, I'm excessively worrying right now because someone's taking a picture and I'm posing. I'm thinking about it too much. It's crazy, isn't it? And that would definitely affect my sleep. A lot of times when I would be laying in bed just contemplating, back to last week, religion, mortality, morality, what I'm going to be, what I'm going to affect. And instead of, laying down at 10 o'clock and going to sleep, I'm going to lay down at 10 o'clock and it's going to be 12:30. And I'm going to be not just worried about things, I'm going to be worried about the next day because I'm not sleeping. Such a weird little circle you could put yourself in. I'm so worried that I'm only going to get 3.5 hours sleep, that I can't sleep. So now I'm only going to get 3, and then I'm going to have to function. But oddly enough, as much as I can't sleep in a bed, when I'm traveling, 70 miles an hour through the tunnel, I get really sleepy. And the most dangerous possible situation I could be is I'm hurtling faster than man was meant to travel in a giant 2,000-pound vehicle. More when I'm in it, probably like 2,400, but whatever. That's when I get sleepy. Crazy. The level of comfort in what should be an anxious situation that I'm totally normal in. Very weird. So yeah, sleep definitely affected by levels of anxiety, but since I've changed the diet, sleep has gotten better. So maybe that'll help with the anxiety. We get to the interrelation with that later. Number 3, irrational fears. Hello. Everyone has one of those. And I would guess that phobias kind of fall under that too. Like if you're scared of snakes, snake can't really mess with you too much, but it depends on the snake. Depends if you live in Australia. If you live in Australia, you should just assume everything can and will kill you. I scraped my leg on a rock. Well, you have to say it in Australia. I scraped my leg on a... I can't do an Australian accent. I scraped my leg on a rock in Australia, and you're going to die. So you should be afraid there. But I got thinking about that. Irrational fears, what else can that really be? It's not so much just a fear of snakes, but health concerns, financial concerns, worrying about things that you can't control at all. You know what? One of my biggest fears is, first of all, my fear of just being forgotten after I'm dead. I kind of hope that I achieve a level of immortality by being a footnote somewhere in someone's history, and they'll have to read about me someday. Hopefully not with 3 names, because that's what assassins do, and I don't want to do that. Don't want to have to. But I think about astronomy and stars in general. And I think about, hey, we got about 5 billion years left on that sun before it goes nova and consumes Mercury, Venus, Earth, then probably Mars as well. And I worry about that. What's going to happen 5 billion years from now? Earth is going to be consumed by a star. And there's nothing I can do about that. And yet I'm going to spend time in my day worrying about that. When things that I can affect change on, I let slide, which is very, very troubling. Not only am I worried about it, I'm spending time worrying about it that I could be using to fix other things. It's very odd. 4, now this gets out of your head a little bit. Well, I guess your head is the root of all of it. But another anxiety symptom, muscle tension. So this is a physical manifestation of a mental state. Now, I got thinking about that, and I don't really feel like I have too much as far as that physical manifestation of anxiety. But I do have my little things. One thing, and this is something I really shouldn't admit to, because this is kind of a sleazy, trolly little thing, and I'm embarrassed of myself when I do it. But that's what this show's all about. I'm going to be admitting to horrible things that I really shouldn't do. When I'm in a situation where I feel like I could potentially be in trouble or could potentially be confronted, I'll usually throw my left arm up and act like I'm popping it in. Or I have some sort of grinding shoulder. My shoulder doesn't hurt that bad. I have a little bit of issue with my left shoulder. But if I feel like somebody's about to come and confront me on something, I'll my knee hurts. my shoulder, and I'll grind it a little bit, or I'll like throw it in there, and I'll look like distracted, or I'll look like I'm focused on it. But really, I'm thinking, oh my God, I hope they don't, as I'm rolling my arm, I hope they don't talk to me, or I know they have something bad to say. I need to distract them and look as busy as possible and focus on this physical injury so they can't possibly talk to me. Or maybe they'll wait till it's done, so I have to escape with this physical injury before they can confront me. Meanwhile, they wanted to say hello. That's not healthy, but that's something I do. Or like I'll throw like a little limp in there, as though, oh man, granted, left ankle, left knee hurts, but since the weight loss, I'm feeling a lot better. But I'll find myself throwing on like a fake limp. And it's like, really, dude? And I'm so embarrassed of myself after the fact, and I will be if anyone ever talks to me about this ever again. So shut up. Don't reach out to @the_Nate_Project on that one. But I do that. I fake physical manifestations of some sort of problem to deal with anxiety, as a way to not cope with it, but to avoid it, which, man, that's not healthy. When really, if I just confronted it, it would be over. I could be in the moment and it would be done. Nope, I gotta fake a shoulder injury in order to not talk to somebody about something. This bothers me like crazy. Also, you ever play with Legos? Everybody's played with Legos. It's an American. Well, it's a Danish tradition. It's a Danish building toy. Not Swedish, Danish. Yeah, but it's still American tradition. Hey, we got Legoland, you jerks. Take that, Denmark. You know, the little ones, no, the regular Legos, not Duplo. Nobody plays with Duplo. Even little kids don't play with Duplo. You maybe get them in the Mega Blocks, but that's beside the point. The little ones, whether either the like 1x1 flat pieces or the 2x1 flat pieces, you ever get two of those together? Yeah, how do you get those apart? Because you can't really pull them apart. You either got to get a fingernail in there, or you're going to have to bite it. The thoughts of that, the idea of pulling those apart is hurting me right now. It's taking me back to being 8, 9, 10 years old, pulling apart, and I remember very specifically, it was a yellow 2x1 flat piece on top of a blue 2x1 flat piece, and it was the first time when I was pulling this apart that I ever grounded. You know, your teeth, that thing where you rub them together where you shouldn't, and it hurts your teeth, and it causes pain and maybe a migraine. That was the first time I ever remember grinding my teeth. So, and it's weird. In the moment, I think that was just like a coping mechanism to deal with it, but it's creating just anxiety in me right now, and it's making me want to grind my teeth, and I feel my jaw locking up. So I remember being a kid, and I played flag football, and they make you get one of those little mouthpiece things that you have to shape to your teeth. You get your mom and your dad to boil it on the stove, you put it in your mouth. This is weird. It's molding to my teeth. And then you have a good mouthpiece. I would put a mouthpiece in to play with Legos, as though it was the most dangerous. It is a pretty dangerous toy. Now that I'm an adult and I have a kid, have you ever stepped on one of those? You will die. Let's pull out some more hack comedy material here, huh? I've stepped on Legos. It hurts. But just thinking about it, is it making my teeth hurt? So just that thought can create a physical problem with you is an amazing thing. The whole mind over matter thing. Very, very odd, and definitely something true. Don't know if it necessarily applies to me, but definitely something to consider. Another moving down the list here. Chronic indigestion. All right. It may just be irritable bowel syndrome, but I've gained a reputation on one of my other shows that I'm the potty kid, and it's because I talk about don't play the sounder. I know you got the sounder. You want to play the sounder. It's gonna make you feel good. Is that what you want? Justin diving in from the other room to hit a sounder. Look at him. He was doing things. Now he's happy. Look, he's so happy. But you know, I would have that where it would be, if you're going into a stressful situation, it's part of fight or flight, where your body. Okay, let's go into that first. You ever see a bird flying, laying on the ground? You go to scare him, and before the bird takes off, it takes a big dump on the ground and flies away. That is part of the natural fight or flight, and your body naturally wants to eliminate as much weight as possible because you're about to tear ass through the woods. So, yeah, when I get anxious, I might get a little gassy. I might need to. I don't piss myself. All right, I'm not gonna piss myself. I've got good control on that. I'm good with that one. But I'll tell you another dumb little story, and man, this isn't one I should really admit to. I almost got in a fight once. I mean, been in a fight here or there, a little scuffle, a little tussle. Usually never involving me. I'm usually one stepping in, and I was always been a fairly sizable person, so I can throw my weight around and break something up, and that's not so bad. But I had an incident one time where it was definitely going to be a fight, starring Nathan Emilio in a fight. This was at a former job, and you ever had that guy at your job that just doesn't do anything? The little work that you have to do, the little mundane stuff that everybody kind of has to do their little part to chip in on. This guy didn't do it. Everybody's had that guy at their job, or girl, whatever, that didn't do their job, and everybody's mad at him. Nobody likes him, but they don't give a damn because they didn't have to do work and they got to go home and didn't have to do. And you're ending up having to do double what they did. Well, I confronted that guy at my work one time because it had built so much, and I loved the way I confronted him with it. I didn't say, "Man, I hate you. Man, you suck. Man, I don't like you. Man, I want to punch you in the face." I said, "Hey, man, you see how you're not doing the work? I did work." "Oh, no, you didn't. And that's why everyone hates you. I'm trying to help you here, man. Everyone hates you. If you're cool with that, whatever." And then he got, very belligerent with me. I came at it with, "I don't hate you. It's everyone else, and I'm trying to help you." I tried to convince him, just a low down piece of trash, that he needed to step up. I tried to take his side with it, which is so weird, but it's a good way to argue. To take their side and convince them that they're stupid. But I do that all the time. We'll get into how to argue in another show. And he started getting loud with me. He wanted to get physical, like he was going to intimidate me. And I realized something in that moment. I think I could be really good in a fight because I've been punched. And you know what? It's not that bad. It really isn't. I mean, if you get knocked out, you're going to get knocked out. I've never been knocked out before. Probably will at some point. Come out Wednesday night. Pizzeria Uno. I got a live event. Try to knock me out. See what you can do. I think it was, who was it? A comedian. I think it was Patrice O'Neal talking about fighting. It's like you get hit that first time and you realize, hey, man, just that fear of leading up to getting hit was bad, but getting hit, not so bad. Okay, I can throw down now. And I had that moment of, if he hits me, it's gonna be fun because then I get to fight him back, which is cool, as I wasn't gonna instigate. But I did fart. I was confronted by this large gentleman. He raises his voice. I stood my ground, and I took a very, very good stance against him. I said my point, said my piece, didn't back down, and he eventually backed down and left. And I farted. Because I don't know if I was scared. I don't think I was scared, but I think it was the fight or flight thing. And I wasn't going to fight. I wasn't going to fly. I was going to fight. But I was going to fart first. And I still remember my favorite part of this whole incident was he left and it stunk in the place. And everybody else thought it was him. They thought me standing up to him scared him to the point he shit himself and he needed to leave the building. I was proud of that. But deep down inside, well, it wasn't deep down inside anymore. It was out at this point. I was the one who may have, I passed gas. So I guess that doesn't really fall under chronic indigestion, but man, anxiety could definitely have an effect on your body. And like I said in the beginning, I've changed the diet, so that changes my whole makeup at this point. And it's definitely a different situation. I don't know. Hopefully that doesn't manifest like it did anymore. Next one is an interesting one for me. Stage fright, which is an odd one for me to talk about because I'm here in front of a mic talking to who knows how many people. Matt does. He has the numbers. I don't get afraid anymore. I mean, I grew up as a band kid. Always had to play, always had to perform, and not only as a band kid, but as like a member of or a soloist in marching band my senior year. I was in the jazz ensembles, and I went to like an arts high school where I just played music all afternoon, and I never had problem really performing. And there was a little bit of anxiety before it, but it's like, boom, once that time came, it was showtime, and you just do it. You don't have a choice. And that's why I like having this show where I can talk to you guys about it. It's a scheduled time. 8 p.m. Tuesday nights, the Nate Project, the music's going to kick in, and I'm going to have to perform. And I always do well with that, which is good. Once it's showtime, I'm good to go. But that time leading up to it, I'm going to have a reasonable level of fear. But I think it's reasonable. I don't think it's out of control. I don't think it's horribly anxious. I don't think it's that bad. But I understand that that's a major thing for people, because it always kind of weirds me out how much people will freak out. Someone that has the utmost confidence in a one-on-one situation, but when they need to step in front of 200, they lose their damn minds. And for me, it's absolutely backwards. I can go in front of a stage of 50 people, or maybe teaching marching band for a number of years helped with that. Having to stand in front of 30 to 100 kids and be confident and knowledgeable, whether you are or not. Maybe that helped me with that, just that experience. But I really feel much more comfortable talking to a large group of people than I do talking to an individual. Like a good buddy, producer, and I think if I call him program director, he might throw something at me. But a good buddy runs around the station here all the time on a number of the shows, Justin Wilson. He and I were talking here early in the evening, and I realized something midway in the conversation. It's like I can't really look him in the eye and talk. I'm doing it now. It's freaking me out. I'm going to look away. Can't look in the eye and have a conversation, which is weird. I should be able to look someone in the eye and have a conversation, but I have a hard time doing that. I'll look elsewhere, I'll look distracted, or I'll be aloof. That's my new tool to hide behind now. I'm aloof and crazy. He's the weird one. Anything to avoid that one-on-one connection and really, bonding or being in the moment with a person. I guess that's why it's easier for me to be in front of a large group, because you're not getting that one-on-one connection. It's not one-on-one on a scale of 200. It's 1 on 200, and there's different expectations. They're not looking for that individual treatment. If they are, you berate them in front of everyone. You make them feel stupid, and then run away. So I don't really have the stage fright so much, but it is definitely a thing that happens, and definitely a source of anxiety for a lot of people. But I think it's a healthy one. I really do. Next one on the list was self-consciousness, which, wow, dude. Of course, I guess that gets into what I was talking about, the one-on-one thing. There's a dichotomy between the two. You're afraid to talk to 200 people, or you're afraid to talk to one person. Me, I'm afraid to talk to one person. And I have to have the better balance of the two. Maybe I should be more afraid of a group, and maybe I'd perform better to step up my game. But yeah, I guess self-consciousness also covers that being judged thing. Again, in front of a large group, I don't care. And maybe that's the older of God. Maybe it's having a kid and changes your perspective on life. But I know I've lived many years with that fear of being judged. What do they think of me? And it's always been very odd being a bigger dude, because it's like, okay, first thought when you go in the room is, okay, I'm the fattest man in the room. Sweet. So that's the first thought. That's when I'm going to be categorized. Is that the fattest man in the room? Sweet. That's my role in this room. Roles. That sound good, because I can hide behind them, and they're my friend. They won't judge me, but everyone else will. And I don't know. That's a tough one to deal with. Everyone, I think, has a level of self-consciousness to them. But that's one of those things of, if you have more time, you're going to be more worried. At least that's how it works with me. Next one. Is this really a symptom of anxiety? I'm not sure. The next one is panic, which I think panic is something totally different. Everybody worries, of course. Panic is oh my God, I'm dying right now. like irrational fear to the nth degree, just absolutely spiking out of control, beyond worrying about things you don't need to be worrying about, but just taking the most minute thing and blowing it completely out of proportion to a level where you physically can't control yourself anymore. I've talked about one of those before, where I've been driving to work and I thought I had a heart palpitation, and I went to the emergency room in a panic, going in there saying, I think I'm having some sort of heart issue, because I couldn't commit to saying heart attack. And they took me to the back and they did, $3,000 worth of tests, at the time uninsured. Fun. And if you ever do that, don't give them a credit card, because they'll charge that thing like right away. Work out a payment plan. Just don't give them $3,000 on credit right away. They'll take it. And I found out, you're a little low on potassium. You're fine, though. I let panic get the best of me that night, because I lost a whole day, a lot of embarrassment, and the story that I'm getting right now, you know what? Not worth $3,000. So I think panic is really its own thing. Next one, we're getting towards the end here. This is the 9 on the list of the 12, is flashbacks. Now, when they say flashbacks, I guess that can cover like a post-traumatic stress disorder type thing. But it also covers another thing that definitely applies to me. I can't really say I have any post-traumatic stress situations, or at least I thought until I started reading this. I often spend a lot of my free time reliving moments in my life that have passed, and they're never going to come up again. But I go back and I review conversations that I've had with people that I don't even talk to. I haven't talked to in a decade. And I'll rehab those conversations. And I think, I should have said this, I should have said that. I analyze it up and down. How would they have reacted had I done this or done that? Was it my place? Did I wait too long? Should I have done something different? And it's amazing how much time that consumes out of my day. Just thinking about things that will never happen again. I don't need to gain an experience out of this. This isn't a learning experience. These are moments in time which make you who you are. Reanalyzing them as though you're going to do them differently. Would that change who you are? Would you think about it more? Any more if it were different? I don't know. And that gets me into the loop of worrying about something. I'm worrying about something that's long past. Horribly unhealthy in how I spend a lot of my time. It's a bad place to be. Just like this. The show will end tonight, and you know what I'll do? I'll break it down for a week. Wonder if I should have done this, should have done that, should have gone in a different direction, should have talked about something else. But that leads right into the next one, which is perfectionism. Now, man, a lot of people have this one. I don't want to say I live with somebody that has something like this, but I would definitely think that this 10 and 11 on the list here are perfectionism and compulsive behaviors. I really think those two are remarkably related. And I know that I've had bouts of this in my life where things have to be in certain places. And I rationalize it to myself as though, hey, it has to be there so I'll know where it's at. That's like, no, your keys, you got your place for your keys, that's cool. But why your keys have to be facing the same direction? Are things going to be different if they weren't? If they were facing the other way? Well, what if they were upside down? Is that going to ruin your day? Yes, it would. I'd be, again, sleepless in bed thinking about how I got to get up and crack that door exactly 3 inches or I'm not going to be able to sleep. I can't close it or I'll freak out. If it's open, I'm going to freak out. Door's got to be 3 inches. Keys have to be folded in perfect V with the house key on the left on the outside and the car key on the right, and forming not quite a 90-degree angle, about a 75 to 80-degree angle, somewhere in the middle. Leave myself some wiggle room when you're going to have the compulsive behavior. But that's one of those things that's left now, is the worry about things like that. It used to be a very, very consuming thing. It would have to be everything, like where you park, when you park, what you can do and when. There was a time when I was terrified of looking at a clock as it clicked midnight. Now, that may have been superstition mixed in with compulsive behavior, but if I was awake as midnight was clicking over, 11:59, I would have to close my eyes, and I would make sure to count in a measured 60 beat per minute pattern, at least, not just 120 to get me 2 minutes to get me to 12:01, but I would count to 300 to make sure I had 5 minutes. I'd close my eyes at 11:59, be awake, concentrating on counting to make it to 12:04. And that's just madness. Losing, specifically and deliberately, 5 minutes of a night because of a superstition, because of a compulsive behavior. And I think back of that now, if I had taken all that time and I had been productive with it, not just the 5 minutes, but all the time I've spent worrying about things that I don't need to worry about, it's absolutely mind-blowing what I could have accomplished, what I could have done, and what failures could have been prevented. We'll get into that in the second half. I got a nasty story to go with that. And the last one on the list of symptoms or warning signs of anxiety is self-doubt. And this is one that I really think I'm getting better on. And I'm going to have to credit this with the kid. I really feel in my life I have less time than I've ever had. And I think it's a really good thing to have less time. I was, be careful who I say that around here. I'm going to throw stuff at me. The more time I have, the more worry I have. The less I'm doing, the more I worry. The less occupied I am, the more I worry. And the more out of the moment I become. The more out of the moment I become, the more disconnected I become. The more disconnected I become, the more I'm afraid of having to remake that connection. And the more I'm fear that I'll be judged for not having that connection. And that irrational fear leads into sleep problems. And once again, I'm back at the top with excessive worry. So do these apply to you? I know they apply to me, but I think in a way they apply to all of us. And if they don't, man, you're not human. That fight or flight is just a basic animal instinct. It's not something that should be suppressed. It should be embraced. It's part of you. Don't medicate yourself to not be that way. But you need to be able to recognize it, be able to identify it, and be able to control it better. It's up to you. I really think being able to analyze that situation makes you better at being able to recognize when you're being irrational, when you're being a little over the top. But we're going to get into that after the song break here. I'm going to go into practical application of this little bit of information and how it's applied to my life and some failures. That'll be fun. Let's go into the deep dark moments of my life. Well, before we go into the song, we just want to say, hey, we're here, Radio Free Radio, best in indie music all day, every damn day, best in live talk, weeknights, and we're expanding our talk blog constantly refining, constantly making it better for you. If you go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Radio Free Radio, you'll be able to check out the past week's show, kind of on demand there, in case you missed it. But you missed it after a week, it's gone. Is it gone forever? No. You throw a buck in there, you get access back to it. And the rest of our back catalog. So get in there, listen to everything we've ever done. If you want to listen to the Nate Project's Descent into Madness from the beginning, you got problems. So do I. Let's commiserate about them. If you want to check out everything Good Morning You Drunks has ever done, if you want to take Chocolate Milk and Waffles back to their inception, you can do that too. Throw a buck. Patreon.com/Radio Free Radio. Hey, we're going to go off to a break here. Justin's probably going to play a song that's relatively insulting of me and my situation, and then we'll be back to talk some more anxiety and how it relates to the human known as Nate. See you in a few, everybody. Hey, all right, that's Car Seat Headrest with Something Soon. I'm trying to figure out how that's insulting. I know deep down, dark, every one of his song choices. Because Justin will listen intently to the show and then throw something in there that's like, ha ha ha. Nothing? Not going to hurt me? Okay. That's just me. I'm anxious, apparently. Going through my list here, huh? I'm overanalyzing. That's my other problem. But I want to get into why I wanted to talk about anxiety today and why it's an odd place for me and how I think it relates to me, because anxiety is something that happens. There's a bigger, bolder statement than it's coming out as. What I mean is, I think anxiety sometimes gets a bad rap, and it gets a lot of blame for. Man, I hate to say this because I know there's going to be people that disagree, but this is mostly how it relates to me, and it's not going to have a definitive solution to it. Too many caveats. Just go right into it. I think I and many other people use anxiety as an excuse for laziness. And that hurts to say because that means it didn't happen to me. It's my response. It's actually my responsibility. Now, anxiety is looked at as an active. Well, not an active guy. It's something that happens like a lightning strike. You go outside, you're minding your own business, and you get hit by lightning. Man, that's not your fault. It happened to you. Are you okay? Anxiety happened to you. Now, laziness isn't quite the same thing. Laziness is something you did. Oh, man, you were lazy and you didn't get that stuff done. That's on you. That says something about you. And I think very often people will say, oh, I'm a little socially awkward, to avoid having to go out and do something. Oh, I'm scared of the repercussions of this or that. And they'll use that as a reason to get out of doing something that they should be obligated to, or as an excuse for failures in their life. Now, let me give you probably the worst example of this in my life. Okay? And then I want to shine a little sunshine on it. This is a little dark turn, but it'll be okay in a minute, and hopefully it'll spark a little bit of debate. College. I've yet to finish. I graduated high school in 97, started in the fall of 1997 towards my degree. It is now the spring of 2016, and I have yet to finish. And why is that? Well, just haven't gone back, because if I go back, I'll have to kind of start fresh, and then it's been a while, and the reason I haven't gone back, the reason I haven't done anything, gets blamed on anxiety, when I really think it's a level of laziness and not wanting to commit to having to do something, not wanting to commit to being obligated to do something. And that doesn't just cover now, it covers back then too. I didn't just withdraw and not go to school. I registered, and I paid, and I'm still paying. I'm actually just about paid off, which is monumental considering. That, I blamed it on anxiety when I think it was laziness. I had a series of classes that I had to do, which were applied music classes. And what that basically is private lessons. You're basically paying the school to contract in someone to teach you privately. And then the kind of final exam for that is a performance. Not to a crowd or anything, but to a panel of teachers, just to prove that, you've made progress and prove that you can perform to specific levels and whatnot. Now, I've said stage fright isn't an issue. Performance never been an issue. I could have done it, but I would often not go to my lessons, and even not go to classes, because, hey, I have to be there at 9, and it's 8:30, and it'll take me like 30 minutes to get there, but if I hit traffic, I'm going to be a little late, and then I'll have to walk in late, and everyone's going to look at me, and they'll know I'm late, and I'll be in trouble because I'm late. I might as well not go. And that was rationalization that had me fail a great many of classes, that made me have to go find somebody to withdraw from these classes. And then I'm paying for these classes that I went to. I know the information. I could easily pass if I just got there. And the worst of them was definitely that applied music classes, because it came time for that last performance in front of that panel of judges, and what I needed was a piano accompanist to just play a very simple thing for me to play along with one of the things I had to play for the performance. And I put it off. And I was kind of spooked to have to look around and find my own accompanist. And even they had a list of people that would not only have been expecting the call, but appreciative to have the opportunity to make a couple bucks by coming in and playing something easy. And I kept putting it off, and blowing it off. And it got to the point where it was actually too late for me to make that arrangement. One phone call to a person that's not only expecting the call, but appreciative of it. My inability to get beyond and out of my own head on how I would be reacted to or how I would be judged kept me from making that call and getting that taken care of. And as a result, I get to that performance and I don't have an accompanist. And this panel of teachers acknowledges it. And they say, well, no, you can't do this then. Bye. And I never got to play for that. Never got to play for that final exam. I could have done it, and I would have, floundered my way through it, and I would have been okay, and it would have been fine. But my worrying about people judging me in an irrational way kept me from doing that. Now, what was it that did that? Was it anxiety? This is me flashing back, but it's for a point. Was it my anxiety that kept me from making that call, or was it just lazy? Was I too scared to actually succeed in some minor manner? Or did I just not want to do it? Would I rather continue doing nothing? And that puts me in the weird spot. What is my crippling flaw here? Am I too anxious about failing? Or am I too lazy to just allow myself to succeed? And that applies to a lot of things I do. And in researching that, I found some interesting answers on that. That it may not be the anxiety, and it may not be laziness. It may be some weird combination of the two. The anxiety can put you into a position where you try to avoid the situation that's making you anxious. So it's not so much laziness that's having you put off that thing, but it's the not wanting to feel the anxiety that's making you delay as long as you possibly can. And then maybe in a flurry, getting it all done, in a weird rush of emotion and potential success, getting it all done in the nick of time, as I've done most things in my life, just barely scraping by when I should be succeeding by leaps and bounds. And it was crazy the amount of people that have been in this exact situation. And the number of people that said it's not the anxiety, it's not laziness, it's fear of the anxiety that makes you push off. But there's a part of me that thinks, I don't know. I don't think that's true. I think I can counteract that. I don't think I need medicated. I don't think I need therapy to get past that. What I need to do is be a little more proactive. So that's what I'm going to try to do in my life to make things better. When I get this situation, not just these big situations, but day-to-day situations, it's important to not put them off. It only breeds more worry, and it definitely looks a lot like laziness. And honestly, it probably is quite a bit of laziness too. But you need to not wait for the deadline. You need to not wait for the last moment. You need to not put off talking to that person you need to put off. Someone had horrible luck in high school. Not just luck. We'll get into that another time. Nathan's relationships. But putting it off for another day, putting it off for an hour, putting it off another minute looks lazy. Maybe is. And it damn sure doesn't deal with the anxiety. It just makes it a bigger hill when you finally have to either climb it or let it defeat you. So that's going to be the weird thing for the next week. And hopefully moving on. And this one's going to be a lot harder than diet. Diet's easy. Diet's a game of numbers. Expend more than you take in. I can do that. But something esoteric, something that I can't put a visualization on, something that I can't see or I can't know until after the fact, it's going to be a lot harder. So I got some talking to do with the men behind the scenes here about some stuff I need to do. It's Justin and Matt. I'm going to talk to them a little bit later, a little off the air, but I'm going to try combating the anxiety, combating the laziness at the same time, being more proactive, even if it means setting false deadlines for myself that I have to meet, or it'll be a failure, and not belittling them and putting them off anymore. I want you to try to do that too. It's a broad thing to say. I'm not saying go out there and accomplish everything today. I'm not saying go out there and accomplish everything tomorrow. I'm saying go out there and just do one thing. What have you been putting off? What have you wanted to do that you just haven't yet? It seems impossible. Go do it. Oh my God. I'm quoting Shia LaBeouf. You deserve better than that. All right. Okay, I'll give you one. I'm going to step back. I'm going to step back from the mic and say it, okay? You ready? Do it! For real. Maybe that crazy bastard is onto something. I got to tell you, I would have gone to the movie theater when he went and watched all his movies. I wouldn't have hung around for all of them, but just to see him experience joy by watching himself. Fascinating. Shia LaBeouf. Maybe the greatest man on the face of the earth. Odd to think of it that way, huh? Don't be lazy. Don't be anxious. Go. Succeed. Yeah. I'll try to. And if I fail, I'll let you know. If I succeed, you'll hear about that too. I'll be gloating and dancing. It'll be a good open for the show next week. Promise. Kinda. Maybe. I don't know. I'll do it tomorrow. See you next week, everybody. This has been the Nate Project.